Hi guys, I hope that you are doing just fine. You want to learn a new language but you don't know how to do so. So I think that this video is going to be the answer. Right, let's say that you want to learn a new language. Let's say for example Spanish, and we are going to take Spanish as an example. You want to learn Spanish and you go to YouTube and you start searching for videos in order to learn that specific language while you are at home. The first thing that they are going to tell you, or let's say the majority of those videos will ask you to start learning and memorizing new words in Spanish, for example. And they ask you to learn a very big amount of words so as to have a very good repertoire in that specific language. The second thing that they are going to ask you to do is to learn the rules or to master the rules of that language, which is Spanish, of course. And they tell you that this is the right way to do so, and they tell you that this is the correct method in order to learn a new language. This may teach you the language, but if you still find some problems while you are talking, those problems are, for example, let's say, I've memorized a lot of words, but I still forget about them or forget some of them. Or another type of problem, which is, for example, let's say I've mastered the use of the rules of that language, but I still can't understand native speakers while they are speaking. Let's say native speakers of Spanish or something like that, okay? Or you still can't think in that language while you are speaking. So if you still have those problems, then be sure that you are in the wrong way, and it's going to be a dead end. So what is the correct way to do so? The correct way is composed of 10 easy, simple steps. And of course, before we start talking about these 10 easy steps, let's talk about the only correct way to do so. And I think that this correct way is known for everybody, and every single person has gone through this process in order to learn. So since we were babies, we started learning by listening, right? So the baby listen and hear the language around him or her, and then they try to imitate what they listen to or what they hear. Third thing that they do is they try to read what they hear or the word that they listen to. And the fourth thing that they do is they end up by writing those words. So listening, imitating those words by repeating them, reading those words, and writing those words. So that's the process, or that's the approach, or that's the idea that I'm talking about here. So without further ado, let's start by those 10 steps to learn any language that you want. Step number 1. Start by listening to sentences or phrases instead of words. Try to listen and to memorize a big amount of sentences instead of isolated words, like I said. Step number 2. Try to listen to many sentences, but this time try to vary in that specific sentence that you have learned. Let's take Spanish as a language that we want to learn. So let's say, for example, today I've learned a sentence which says, Me gusta jugar el fútbol. Me gusta jugar el fútbol. Let's say, for example, that we want to variate in this sentence. How are we going to variate? So instead of saying, Me gusta jugar el fútbol, say, Me gusta jugar el tenis. Me gusta jugar el basketball. Okay? You see, so by doing this, you variate the same sentence that you have learned by changing some specific words in that sentence. Step number 3, listen to very short dialogues. But these very short dialogues are going to be accompanied by uh, explanations. Okay? And what you are supposed to do here is you listen to that short conversation and you try to practice it with yourself. Suppose that we have two people talking to each other and they want to know each other. Play the role of the two people. There's no problem in that. What's important is that you practice that specific short dialogue or conversation that you have listened to. Step number 4. This time try to listen to conversations, but they are going to be a bit longer than the previous ones. This time, the difference is that you are going to listen to those conversations, but without explanation. Or let's not say without explanation, but with less explanation compared to the previous conversations. And what you are going to focus on here is the pronunciation. Okay. Step number 5. Start by reading. So here you are going to try to search for short stories in that language. And try to read this short story many times. And try to understand new words or vocabulary items, not separately, but within the context where this specific words has occurred. Take sentences rather than words, like I said before. So read over and over that short story until you understand what it is about. So, did you notice that we didn't talk about learning the rules up to now? Fine. Here comes step number 6, which says start learning the rules, but just an idea about the rules. Don't go deep into the rules, because if you go deep into the rules while you are just a beginner, you may frustrate yourself and you are going to end up by leaving the learning process because you found something that is more complicated than you thought. I can give you an idea. What we are going to start with in this step is that we have an idea about the rules. Let's say, for example, the tenses. I'm going to start learning the tenses of that specific language just to know why those verbs change from time to time or according to the tense. Like I said, don't go deep, just take an idea about these rules. Step number 7. Start by writing. And what you are going to write here in this stage is that, let's say, for example, at the end of the day, you are going to write about your day, how it was. Just a brief summary about that day. What happened to you? Where did you go? What did you do? Whom did you meet? For example, bad things that happened to you or good things that happened to you. So at the end of the day, you write a very short paragraph in which you summarize what happened to you or what you did in that specific day. Step number 8. Start watching movies in that language. But these movies shall be without translation, because if you focus on translation, you are going to have a lot of problems to train your ears to hear that new language that you are learning. Step number 9. Start talking to a native speaker. And if you don't find that native speaker, try to talk to your teacher or your mentor if you are learning that language in a center, for example. Okay? And if you end up by finding nobody or no native speaker, for example, try to search for chat sites and start chatting with those foreigners who are the native speakers of that language that you are learning. And step number 10 congratulations, you have learned the language. If you made sure that you have followed the exact order of those 9 steps that I told you about. One thing that you should not do is to rush. Take your time and don't be very quick in doing things. Take your time, consider it as an investment in yourself, because you are going to learn something new and you are going to learn new cultures and so on and so forth. If you want to learn that language, be patient, take your time in each of those stages or steps. Don't say, for example, I've taken too long time in that phase or in that step, so let's go to the second step. By doing this, you are going to destroy everything that you have built. This is all concerning the 10 steps, or let's say the 9 steps, because the 10th step was just saying congratulations, you have made it. I hope that you guys liked this video, and if you like, try to share it and tell your friends about it in order to learn a new language. Thank you very much for watching this video, and hasta la vista.